They mocked the 12-year-old black girl in the luxury store until her billionaire mother silenced them all. I'm sorry, but I think you're lost. The children's store is on the second floor. Jessica Thompson's sharp voice echoed through the luxury boutique on Madison Avenue in New York as she looked disdainfully at the 12-year-old black girl who had just entered. Amelia Johnson held her grandmother Dorothy's hand tightly, trying not to show how much those words hurt her. She had been dreaming about this moment for weeks. She could finally choose a special dress for the graduation ceremony at the private school where she studied on a full scholarship. "We're looking for a dress for a special occasion," Dorothy replied with dignity, her calm voice contrasting with the tension in the air. The 68-year-old woman had raised Amelia since she was a baby and knew this type of situation very well. The head saleswoman, Lauren Mitchell, approached with measured steps, analyzing every detail of the two visitors. Her trained eyes missed nothing. Dorothy's simple shoes, the unbranded handbag, the wool coat that had clearly seen better days. "Our dresses start at $3,500. Lauren said with a forced smile. "Perhaps you'd prefer to take a look at Macy's? It's a few blocks away and has more suitable options." Other customers in the boutique began to pay attention to the situation. A blonde woman carrying a Hermes bag whispered to her friend, "Honestly, anyone walks into anywhere these days." Amelia felt her cheeks burn with embarrassment, but she held her head high. At 12, she had already learned that the world could be cruel, but her grandmother had always taught her that dignity was priceless. "Can we just take a look?" Dorothy asked gently. "My granddaughter got excellent grades this year and deserves something special." Jessica giggled. Of course. But please don't touch anything. These are delicate, imported pieces." What none of those women knew was that, at that very moment, a few blocks away, someone was ending a meeting that would forever change the future of several companies in Manhattan. Someone who would not tolerate for a second seeing his daughter treated that way. Dorothy discreetly checked her cell phone. A simple message, arriving in 10 minutes. "How is Amelia?" She smiled subtly and replied, learning a valuable lesson about how some people reveal their true character. As Amelia looked at the beautiful dresses that were apparently not made for girls like her, something in her eyes revealed a strength that only exists in those who have faced adversities greater than their age should allow. If this story of courage and justice touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to find out how a simple afternoon of shopping would turn into the most expensive lesson these saleswomen would ever receive. Lauren Mitchell led Amelia and Dorothy to a small section at the back of the store, away from the main display windows. There, 3 dresses clearly from previous seasons hung carelessly on crooked hangers. "These are more realistic for you," Lauren said, waving a drab grey dress. "They're 40% off. Still, they cost $2,100 each." Jessica joined the group, carrying a clipboard. "We'll need a credit card before any fittings," she announced authoritatively. "It's store policy for certain situations." The humiliation was deliberate and cruel. Other customers began to gather discreetly, turning the situation into a spectacle. One woman whispered loudly enough to be heard, "Poor things, they probably saw the store in a magazine and didn't understand that it's not for them." Dorothy maintained her composure, but Amelia felt tears burning her eyes. At 12, she had already faced mean comments at the private school where she studied on a full scholarship. But this was different. This was pure cruelty disguised as store policy. What these women didn't know was the story behind that seemingly vulnerable little girl. Amelia had been born into extraordinary circumstances. Her mother, Victoria Johnson, was only a 16-year-old teenager when she became pregnant. The biological father disappeared at the first ultrasound, leaving Victoria alone and without resources. Dorothy, then 52 and working as a cleaner at 3 different jobs, made a decision that would change everything. This child will have every opportunity life can offer, she promised on the day Amelia was born. No matter what I have to sacrifice. And she did. For 12 years, Dorothy worked double shifts, saved every penny, and even sold her small house to pay for an elite private school for Amelia. Victoria, now 28, had earned a full scholarship to Harvard University at age 18. And then, well, her trajectory was exactly the kind of information Lauren and Jessica would discover in the most humiliating way possible. Grandma, Amelia whispered, trying to hold back her tears, maybe we should leave. Dorothy gently squeezed her granddaughter's shin. At 68, she had learned that dignity is not negotiable. But she also knew that sometimes justice requires patience. No, dear, she replied calmly. Your mother will be here in a few minutes. She always said she wanted to be there when you chose your first really special dress. Lauren rolled her eyes dramatically. Sure, one more person to deal with. I hope they understand we can't allow crowds in the store. At that moment, the boutique phone rang. Jessica answered in her most refined voice. Madison Avenue Boutique, how can I help you? The voice on the other end was firm and professional. I need to speak to the manager immediately. I have a delicate situation involving discrimination in your store. Jessica frowned. I'm sorry, but I don't understand. Who is this? My name is Victoria Johnson. My daughter and my mother are there right now, and apparently they are being treated inappropriately. I would like to resolve this before I have to involve my lawyers. Jessica's blood ran cold. That name. She had heard it somewhere recently. Victoria Johnson. Why did it sound familiar? One moment, Jessica stammered, covering the phone. She whispered to Lauren, is there a Victoria Johnson there? Someone's mother is complaining on the phone. Lauren looked directly at Amelia and Dorothy. Is it you? Dorothy smiled subtly. My daughter has always been very protective. Jessica returned to the phone, trying to maintain a professional tone. Miss Johnson, I can assure you that all of our clients receive exceptional treatment. The voice on the other end turned cold. Interesting. Then why is my 12-year-old daughter crying? And why was my mother directed to discount dresses in the back of the store? The two saleswomen looked at each other nervously. How did this woman know exactly what was going on? I'll be there in 3 minutes. The voice continued. And I suggest you spend those 3 minutes thinking about how to explain why you judged a family by their appearance without knowing anything about who we are. The call ended abruptly. Lauren tried to maintain her composure, but something in that woman's voice had set off a primitive alarm. Maybe we should reconsider our service, she murmured to Jessica. It's too late for that, Dorothy said calmly, checking her simple wristwatch. You had your chance to do the right thing. Amelia, still holding her grandmother's hand, watched as the two saleswomen began to grow visibly nervous. For some reason, her mother's call had completely changed the dynamic of the situation.